In 2009, I started my fraud prevention journey when I joined PayPal as a fraud analyst. And back then, we had this saying, good people leave tracks. The idea was simple. Fraudsters would try to cover their own tracks. They'll use fake identities, sign up with disposable emails, delete browser cookies. Either way, the identities they use would actually appear as brand new. Legitimate customers, however, never bother with cleaning the breadcrumbs they leave behind. Why would they? Back in 2009, when we reviewed fraud cases, this mainly meant that we stalked people on Facebook. And boy, was I good at it. One day, a colleague of mine was reviewing a case she couldn't decide on. The account and card were American, the IP came from Vietnam, which was a known fraud hub, and the Facebook page linked to the account's email had nothing on it. No geotags on recent pictures, no status updates about traveling there, no liked pages that refer to the item purchased, basically nothing that could connect the identity to the transaction. But there was one thing that caught my eye. The profile picture showed the person standing in front of a colonial-looking villa, surrounded by what looked to me like tropical vegetation. Now, funnily, I happened to backpack through Vietnam just a few years prior to that, and I got this strong gut feeling that the picture might have been taken there. So I searched for colonial building Vietnam in Google Images. That was before you could do a reverse image search, and lo and behold, the very same building popped up immediately. That's how we knew the account holder was indeed traveling in Vietnam, and we decided to approve the purchase. Now, why am I telling you this story? First, to brag, of course. Second, I bet you just cringe listening to it. Not because you suddenly remembered writing public statuses on your Facebook wall, that too probably, but likely because you remembered how easy it once was to violate someone's privacy. And if you forgot or weren't around then, here's an image of Facebook's advanced search from 2008 just to illustrate the possibilities. But now we're in 2026 and people are more aware of the dangers of oversharing private information on social media. Even more so, the regulatory environment has also changed, and so did the privacy settings platforms like Facebook enforce, especially on default. As a private person and a parent, I'm glad to see these changes. But as a fraud professional, that makes my job harder. Nowadays, it's much harder to find those same breadcrumbs good users leave behind. Some would argue that you still have very similar capabilities today. There are plenty of vendors out there who collect identity information, including which online services you subscribe to. You can also still use Google Search and the limited search functionality that different social media platforms offer. And lately, we've also seen how AI tools make OSINT analysis easy and fast. All these are great, but privacy settings will still limit your reach, mainly your access to the behavior and social network of the user. Now, think about how important those are. Knowing where a person is right now, you can remove a suspicion of fraud in cases of geo mismatch. Knowing what they like to do for fun can show direct relation to a purchase made. Knowing who their close friends are can shed light on that suspicious P2P transfer. Today, it all sounds cringeworthy, but back in 2009, it was our secret weapon in fighting fraud. So, is privacy obstructing us from fighting fraud? There's another way to look at how our culture evolved around privacy concerns. And that has to do with the rise of scams as the prominent fraud threat of our day. Just imagine what scammers and con artists could achieve if we had the same level of data security we had 20 years ago. Now that could make my skin crawl. You see, as fraud fighters, we tend to complain about privacy regulations and how they stand in the way to implement effective fraud prevention solutions. But maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they give us a fighting chance.